Howdy, folks. Badger Lord Patrick here, as I'm wont to be. Let's dive in and get some Going Medieval on. Back to Market Arjour to our various people. I'm not even sure that I'm gonna get the accents right tonight. Just gonna drop you there. Yes. But I do remember Sigmund, for he was my first. And I do remember Dior, of course. Who could forget Dior? Dior is wonderful. Isn't he now? Still getting the old laptop set up. Or the new laptop, I guess I should say. Among other things I'm setting up. Getting the new walls around the old fiefdom set up. Definitely want to put some traps around this bad boy. It's spring, it's early. We have gotten crops planted, and there will always be plenty to hunt, so it's not absolutely imperative at the moment that we, it's not absolutely imperative that we plant more things. Okay. So, I'm going ahead and doing this, okay? So these are going to be the walls now, and if I recall correctly, these wicker lines are going to be the church. Excuse me, which is going to be the center feature of our town. There are many questions, of course, but the first question I have is how? How's that gonna happen? And I think we agreed the way it's gonna be happening is with clay brick. At least a foundation of clay brick. Although it looks like I do indeed want to make... Looks indeed like last week I had intended to start with the chapel outdoors. Now the question is... Oh, it has the wicker floor. The question is, well, since we're gonna make a chapel, well, how do we keep the pagans happy? How do we keep Eddie and Mabel happy? I mean, or how do we keep Eddie and Dior happy? That's a question. Especially since seeing as I've destroyed this chapel already, they're kinda on the chopping block. This little chapel setup that we've had kinda needs to go. To that end, let us make quick work of the walls. And of course the roofs. And, oh, by the way, this wall is complete, isn't it? Yes, it appears to be so. Good. True, it is a little expensive, given it's going around a giant perimeter here, and actually it's pretty much whittled down all the logs we had, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But that does mean that we can start taking down these walls here. That does leave the question, though, how do we begin with the church? Or do we begin with the church? Or do we begin with something else? And again, we still need the wherewithal to store some things. That's right, we converted these workshops into a storage area for non-perishables, including the 2 workshops which we took to pieces. And it's right next to our brewery. Beg your pardon. Oh, yes. Should attend to Duolingo after this. Been learning a bit of Welsh. Bit of Welsh, bit of Russian, bit of Polish. You may wonder, what do Welsh, Russian, and Polish have in common? Why are you learning all those things? And I'll tell you the reason. Because I've found media that's interesting to me. May not be interesting to you, but it is interesting to me. In all those languages. Specifically. 2 out of 3 of those, actually. Russian and Welsh. Call it a bit odd, but I do actually kind of like children's media. It's just interesting. I'm not exactly a brony or anything, but I've watched some of My Little Pony. You know, Friendship is Magic back when it was big, and I had to admit, it was pretty good. It was not boring. And I've found similar interest in myself. Shit, what am I looking for here? Botany. Botany is the one I'm looking for. People who can cut down trees. I cut down trees and eat my lunch. And go to the lava tree. Okay. But anyway, I do find some children's cartoons on occasion kind of interesting. Not all the time. I don't watch marathons of the things. Why do you think I'm on here? But, what do you think I do with my time? Please, give me a break. But, doesn't mean that I don't find other things interesting. And one of the things I do is children's media, or media that seems to be targeted at children anyway. There is, so in addition to some Welsh children's media, Fireman Sam in particular, Sam Tan, he's always on the scene, Fireman Sam and his engine's bright and clean. It's a cute little claymation show or puppet show of some kind about a fireman in the Welsh village of Pontypandy, who, as you might guess, takes care of fireman-type situations. Things being on fire, cats up trees, that sort of thing. It's kinda good, after its fashion. What really interests me about it, though, is the accents. I mean, I'd never heard a Welsh accent before that show, and I realized they're kind of exaggerated because, I mean, it's children's media, but also realizing that this is indeed something that people show to their children in the United Kingdom and Wales is, it's, well, enlightening is one thing it is, another thing it is, I don't know, just learning how these guys talk is kind of fascinating to me. Because I live in the United States, if you might guess, you might notice I have some kind of an accent or something like that. That's what everybody tells me, anyway. Okay, merchant caravan. Wonder what we can get with this. Don't know, Eddie. What do you think, hon? Gosh, why am I harvesting carrots? We've got tons of those stinkers sitting around here. We don't need more. Holy crap, no. I could swear I saw something buzzing around, but I appear to be wrong. Dior. know you like gardening. No, I saw it again. Didn't you see that? I think it's just leaves or something. You notice that very, very occasionally, maybe. So yes, Fireman Sam is kind of interesting. I've also, ever since I was a child, I actually liked Thomas the Tank Engine, and it was interesting. I always liked looking up the different language versions of it. I saw the Polish version, the Dutch version by Eric de Zwart, among others. And I don't know, it's not that I understand any of those languages, it's not that, but I don't know, you just like hearing what it sounds like in other languages, and John Ogwyn narrates it very interestingly to me. Plus, I've also been reading a bit about Welsh history, since seeing John Ford's movie from 1940, How Green Is My Valley, or How Green Was My Valley. Yeah. How Green Was My Valley, because it's a kind of dramatic, kind of depressing film about a young boy who grows up in a Welsh coal mining town in the 19th century. And, glowing review. Yeah, I should absolutely go see something that's gonna make me feel depressed afterwards. Actually, I am gonna recommend it, but not necessarily because of the drama, because it's even though it's kind of a downer ending, that's not why I recommend you go see How Green Was My Valley. No, if you want to hear something good from it, the good thing to hear from it is the music. I actually posted a collection of clips of the various things that they sing, many of which are church hymns, which are a bit long and sighing and sad. That's not all they sing. They also sing Cumronta, which is Guide Me Thou, O Great Jehovah, or Guide Me Thou, O Great Redeemer. So we're smelting. Can we also... Oh, wait, yeah, that's why I've got you. So, what do we need in order to do you? Not sure. Really not sure. And even if I were... Oh, actually, I could certainly try... Oh. Oi, Sigmund! We got traders in. I'll be right there. I shall attend to them. You know, the trick with the pitchfork does look kind of fun to maybe jab a bit, but maybe I'd better attend to my work instead. Excuse me, sir. Do you have a minute to talk about Jesus? Well, as a matter of fact, no. Seeing as I am a well-convinced pagan in my heart of hearts, I think I'll pass, but I do have some goods if you're interested. And maybe if you've got something interesting in turn, eh? Well, what do we have? We've got healing kits. They've got healing kits. They have a flawless headband. Then we and they have various hoods. Or helmets, if we wanted to pretend we are Teutons. I'm more than content not doing that, however. I could sell them some iron ingots, but I'm good for the moment. Ooh, they've got lavish meals. All stuff I've seen before. Ooh, a military pick. For those of you who want to do building damage. What is a pig face helmet, I wonder? It's made out of gold, and it's 420 somethings in value, so highly unlikely we're going to be getting that. Probably also not going to be selling off for red currants, although, hey, looks like they have some raw meat that we could buy if we wanted. I see no reason to do that, however. I think the best thing we can do at this time is to sell some of our crappy spears. Maybe keep the best one, which is sturdy, still not very good, but better than nothing. Won't buy Asher Bones, that's not surprising, and I don't care. What I do care about is there anything? Flawless winter clothes. And that's actually a pretty good bargain if you ask me. 29 somethings for it. 29 units. I don't even know what those are. They aren't even anything. They're not silver like Rimworld. Anyway, a brie tart. Cheese tart. I could go for some brie right now, actually. But, oh well. You shall do without. Actually, you know what? I think I will sell that, and let's have a good look at what we might be able to buy. We don't have anything tremendously amazing, but we don't need to. We'll be fine. Let's see, though. Let us look around. Oh, there's no harm in looking. Seeing if there is anything worth picking up. So even buying one healing kit is already gonna put us a lot closer to being on equal footing than I'd like, but having healing kits available is never a bad thing. I've got plenty of food, they've got plenty of food. Bone shields? Kind of interesting, but I'm not interested in making people afraid. And neither is our good man here. I'll tell you what we are interested in, barley. We used to sing in the church, bread of heaven, feed me till I want no more. I should like to sing that again. And to that end, I think we should acquire some barley seed. Surely even you guys would like some of that. What he doesn't let them know is that the bread is going to have to be stored in the temple. For no apparent reason. And therefore they will have to be reminded constantly that the bread does exist for them. As should the wine, but if we did that, there would be a riot. Especially considering he doesn't actually drink wine. They would not be happy. And I wouldn't blame them. But bread they can do without. Bread our man needs. Alright, we can get 33 barley for the amount, and how much would that leave him with? 59? Man, I'd like more of it, but what I honestly would like is if we could set limits on the amount of barley that can be processed at any time. I mean, I suppose I could just process 3 or 4 at a time, but I'd really rather not. Maybe I should, though, just for the sake of the role-playing that I'm attempting to do. We probably don't need 25 healing seeds. Mind you, that doesn't really get us anywhere. Herbs, on the other hand, that's a different matter. Actually, for that matter, I think I'm gonna take these herb seeds back. We are so close to acquiring all of that barley. And if I do, I'm gonna plant another field because I want there to be bread for the church. I realize that bread for the church, at least in the West, is made with little flat wafers, and it's made with wheat. But wheat doesn't exist in this game, so you have to adapt, is my excuse? I don't know. But we are going to go ahead and finalize this barter, and just to be sure, the Heresy of the Rose, okay, they're actually anarchists, but nevertheless, still not very supportive of it. Alright, but now that we've got all this barley, sitting around, Sigmund, good work with the barley, my man. One thing, though. Time to get into the summer clothes, if you ask me. We'll keep this winter apparel for later. Why are we not giving you any armor? That doesn't make any sense to me. We should let you have. Oh, because we didn't assign it to her, because she's the newest and I paid no attention. Silly of me. Very stupid of me. Actually, no shields for any of them. I'm just kind of letting myself get lost here for a second. Manage food. No seeds or edit food. Let's make a new one, shall we? Maybe I should give the pagans a special food, too. I don't know what, though. Food. Meal. Bread. No bread. Okay, and no barley either. Actually, I should change that as well. Alright, and we'll add one more. Actually, wait a minute, I think that one actually already exists. No seeds are... Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Okay, so we're going to set the pagans to no bread. And we're going to set the other guys to no seeds are wrong. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I think this is the right idea. Kind of wish it could set a schedule, but we're not going to worry about that right now. I think, as far as restrictions go, I think maybe the thing to do is to let the pagans have cider, or real proper beer, and let the Christians have rough wine and bread. Sounds like a fair trade, doesn't it? They get the good liquor. At least that seems like a reasonable idea to me. Right here wrongly. Meanwhile, though, we got more flax coming. And we got more barley coming. Oh, hauling this is gonna be really... Actually, I should probably schedule someone to be the hauler de facto. I know you like cooking, Dior, and you're really good at it, but we're actually going to have you focus on hauling. Also, you are also the best farmer, but yes, we need somebody to focus on hauling. I did say I did want to plant all of this. I'm not sure that that's actually true. I'm not sure that I actually do want to plant all of this, but I do want to plant a fairly large amount of it so that we have butt tons of barley going forward, so that we don't run out again, because we did run out a while ago. To that end, I think I am gonna plant an 8x8 field. Ew. Or, next closest. How many grids? It is 59 spaces. I think that covers it. I think that covers all the barley we just got, now that I think of it. Excellent. So on top of everything else, we're also stockpiling cloth. But wait, there's more. I have decided we're not gonna completely get rid of the Oak Brethren Shrine as yet. I say we put it in the Great Hall. Just for the moment, just to keep everything out of the rain and the elements. I want to be at least somewhat judicious to the pagans after all. We do want to cooperate. We don't want to step on people's toes. And besides, let's be honest, it wouldn't be realistic. These two absolute zealots need to compromise. Yes, I'm absolutely sure that the thing we need to do is to make the banquet hall the place of the pagan. While it still remains a banquet hall, do not forget, it shall become the church soon. Indeed it shall. And indeed it shall. Dior, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit concerned about you and Sigmund's fighting. Sure you might not be carrying your rivalry just a bit too far? Now look, love, the only thing you can do with a zealot like him is you gotta be hard-nosed with him. You gotta let him know you're not gonna give an inch. That's the only way to protect your relationship with the Almighty. That's the only way to keep the gods from getting angry at us. Is to show them you mean business. Even with those who find them to be mortal enemies with you. So this rivalry is necessary if we're gonna continue to be pagans. If the gods are not gonna strike plague into this land. What do you think happened to the last two pagans? Don't you think that's a sign? We need to be tough on this. It's important that we tough on this. Well, boys, I'll tell you what. I think this cow is finally happy to be part of our settlement. Plato is now docile and absolutely loves to run around. I have him eating out of the palm of my hand. Alright, so. Cool, we now have a bull. No cow, so therefore no baby cows, which we can sell. Or eat. But, that's alright. For the moment. What I'm slightly less alright with, however, are all of the foxes and, not to mention all of these piles of wood lying around. Holy crap, we need to bring these in. Dior, how you doing with that, bud? Holy crap, there's a lot to haul around. Farming season really need to be this bloody strenuous. Actually, no, okay, don't make meals forever. We don't need that. Make them until you have... Okay, we don't even need that many, really. I think I was doing that because... Shit, what? I think I was doing that in order to make use of nearly rotten food. We don't need that, though. I think 24 is more than enough. 24 is more than enough food, if you ask me. Alright. That being said, what else is there? So Mabel was the one just cooking. Alright. What else is there to do? Hunting? Convalescing? Not tending? Not cooking, and not animal husbandry. Although, yeah, no, she's done fine in that respect, though. Hear us, O Lord, from my heavenly... Okay, I think building more shelves is a good idea. Not the only good idea, but a good idea. So we're gonna go ahead and copy a few shelves here, just for the moment. You can't construct shelves. Okay, fine. It's noon time, everybody's enjoying their entertainment, or praying, as the case may be, or Eddie's off gardening. Being a bit of a dullard, she hasn't quite caught on to the fact that it is recreation time. O Lord, our Governor, how excellent is thy name in all the world. We commend thee, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and sing the praise of him who died. Okay, back to work. Okay, back to work. Perfect. Can anybody else help? Nope, Sigmund's just gonna build them all. That's fine. Nobody else is of sufficient skill level, so yep, Sigmund is gonna have to build these alone. In which case, the next question is, okay, so shelves, obviously not very good construction practice. Certainly seems that way. What should we build then? I'm actually kind of impressed those are sticking in, though. Now that I look at it, I guess I shouldn't be too impressed. Still, it looks weird and probably doesn't function very well, and is probably very easy to take apart, so... I'm instead going to focus on maybe building some better houses. Now, I think we did want to get away from... We wanted to get away from log houses, though I'm not sure in this first incarnation of the first incarnation of the walled town rather than fort with tumors growing off of it. I'm not sure in the first incarnation we'll be able to avoid log cabins entirely. I think we are going to need some. In particular, okay, let me rethink that. Sigmund, stop. Okay. This was a mistake. I should not have done this. We are going to stop. Thank you. We're gonna stop and we're gonna relay these so that we can have slightly smaller bedrooms. We don't need bedrooms quite that large. Not with our base being still fairly small. Later, perhaps, we can make these a decent size, but for the moment, just little 4x4 shacks are gonna do the job. Let everybody have a little cubby hole to himself, but not much else. Okay, so we got 3 and we need 1 more. And that's right on the border of the church, too, so I'm not really keen to... It's over here. Where would be a good place for a 4x4 shack, I wonder? Maybe this would be a good place for a granary? Since we have a storehouse over here. Yeah, and if you all have any input, please feel free to put it in the chat. It is actually correct tonight. Well, or I've made it correct-ish. This is a colony sim, after all. Oh! Actually, that'll do fine, actually. I have an even better idea. So we'll put a door there, and a door there. And we'll let the last guy who has yet to get a house, sleep in this shared bedroom. That'll be fine for the moment. Again, these are hardly permanent by any means. These are not by any means permanent. So yeah, we'll just do that. We'll slap some roofs on and call it a day. And then we'll move beds down there, of course, but first things first. Kind of miserable little shacks now that I look at them. I should give them each at least one window. Again, not ideal, but there we go, okay. Not ideal, but it's at least something that's not the shared barracks, you know? That'll let them practice a little bit of construction. Speaking of which, I know we've got seeds to plant and plenty of them. Lord, do I know that. But we also have things needing building, and I want to get y'all's construction up a bit. Fortunately, it looks like Eddie could be convinced to it. I do have her priorities up such that she really could and should. So stop for a bit. Yep, thank you. Eddie? Yes, Sigmund? I want you to practice a little bit with the hammer with me. They have been getting on and being friendly, I will admit. Well, look at all this. Look at all this, Sigmund. First you garden with me, and then you asked me to build huts with you. Next thing you know, you might be inviting me into one. You tart. He is, of course, deeply embarrassed by this idea. Woman, I only noticed that I am the only one building things around here. I would like it if someone could join me. It's very arduous, madam. Surely that's comprehensible enough, without any further explanation. She giggles and titters, partly because she is a dullard. After all, so she is partly a dullard after all. Yeah. It's everybody's evening prayer, however, and actually, if there is one thing you could do for me, it is to bring some more wood. We're going to need quite a lot of it. Frankly, the thing we need is more workers. We desperately need more workers. It's not a town without more people. Might even be inclined to taking a pagan, just so long as he has some construction or some other talent. Or even if he has none at all, by gum, we could certainly put him to hauling. I sometimes wonder if these colony sims are more of an exercise in toil and the never-ending treadmill of survival, perhaps. Bright side, it looks like they both had a good time hunting. You know, you great, horrible dead man worshipper. I must say, if there is one thing you are good with, it is a bow. Yes, indeed, and so are you, you great, horrible devil worshipper. It's good to know you can have friends in this world. Yes, indeed. Even when they are mortal enemies, it's good to know that they can be friends. Well, will you look at that? Oh dear. It's right in the bloody doorway too. I hope nothing comes down and kills him. or worse, runs into our food and ransacks it. Speaking of which, speaking of the food, I hope somebody comes by soon who will buy this cooked food that I've made. No point in keeping it all around, considering we're not gonna eat all of it. Not within one season. Then again, though, it's not much less shelf-stable than the carrots and the other raw vegetables, so I'm not exactly that worried about it. About wasting meals. Forgive me. Just checking my minutes. 51 minutes in. Golden flax. Excellent. You know, I will say that building, on top of all this bloody harvesting we've already got to do, is just taxing upon taxing. It's almost as bad as the landlord. You know, I can't help but fucking agree. There's far too much to do. There's so much that needs doing, Sigmund. Yes, well, that is the natural state of things. There is always too much to do. There shall forever be too much to do. We are not carrying on because we think we're going to get everything done. We're carrying on because this is, well, I suppose this is life. We have things we need. We need food, we need sleep, we need shelter. We need to know that we are loved and that we are capable of love ourselves. It's all rather important. Speaking of things that are important, bloody hell, I could use a drink. You know, perhaps we wouldn't cook everything into a pasty, rather than turning it into wine or cider. You know very well there's not enough juice in the world. Not a store, let's see the almanac. Doesn't say anything about fermenting ingredients. There we go. Fermenting fruit juice. What does fermenting require, however? Systems. Fermentation. If the temperature is right, resources will turn into new resources. Curdling milk will turn into cheese. Well, this doesn't seem to be doing anything. so I'm not sure what to make of that. Is it too warm? Too cold? I don't know. I forget already how hot or cold it needs to be. I think it needs to be warmer, though. At least that's what I'd do if I wanted to ferment something. Make it stink a bit. I actually tried making some sugar wine once. Surprised it didn't blind me, frankly. What you do is you take some... Actually, what do you do again? I don't exactly remember what you do. Oh no, oh dear. That's hilarious. That is kind of stupidly funny, though. Oh dear. So yeah, I forgot beds are 3x1 and not 2x1. I've been playing too much RimWorld. Oh well. It's noon, let them have their fun in the noonday sun. And then expand these little huts so that they can actually fit beds. Well, that was stupid of me. Oh well. I wonder if we could turn this into a facade. I wonder if that would be good. Probably unnecessary, though. Maybe. Maybe. I have yet to meet one who can outsmart a bullet. Wait a minute, that doesn't apply here. Anyway. What does apply here, though, is just changing the roof a little. There we go. Actually, you know what? That looks kind of quaint, doesn't it? Some logs sticking up out of the ground. You have a window on one side. I don't know. It doesn't look like an outhouse. Maybe sort of a cabana, I suppose. Actually, yeah, you know what? I think a cabana is an apt description. Excuse me. Some limestone. I'm just a little surprised you can't pave over with iron nuggets. Perhaps that's just one game I used to play, called Haven and Hearth, which is not at all like this, but it is a bit more like a different game, which I have also played. I've even played it on this channel a little, and I would like to play more of it. Actually, just got back into my account just after they did some updates. It's a game called Valheim. I am not very good at the survival and fighting, especially not the fighting of bosses thing. And I'm a little impatient for the building thing, but not as impatient as I am with Minecraft. I must say, Valheim is definitely an improvement in comparison of, say, Minecraft. At least in my opinion. I find it to be very enjoyable to build in. It would be cathartic if it weren't for the survival mechanics. But even it's kind of cathartic in its own right. I've built some nice things. I built a little chapel over one of the dolmens out in the world. I mean, you have to know I'm gonna do stuff like that. The culture of Catholicism is important to me, just as important as the theology. Maybe a little less important, but still fairly important. Important enough that I'm willing to talk about it on YouTube. And on Twitch. Alright, I got this down. I can get this thing moved. I totally got it. Watch this. I can pick up these beds like they're nothing. See that? Alright, and we got a little bedroom. Isn't that nice? You've learned well. I'm most impressed, Eddie. Good job. Now, why is this a spare room, I wonder? Is it missing a door or something, or does it need to be walled off or something stupid? Well, it doesn't matter too much, I suppose. Except for the fact that somebody is not going to get the benefit of sleeping in a bedroom on... Wait a minute. Oh, crap. I should have moved that over. Oh, well. Actually, now that I look at it, moving the gate over is probably the more sensible thing to do. But it can wait. Whew. Well, I'll tell you, it has been a very, very productive springtime, I must say. Much food brought in, much food planted. Not gonna lie, I'm absolutely impressed with what we've managed to do. Good night, Plato, old boy. Enjoy the stairway, much as a bull can. With your head clipping through the wall, no less. Yeah, you enjoy that, Plato. Dior has opted to stay in the old bedroom. And suffer the consequences of it too, it looks like. How's everybody else doing? Had good work days. Isn't drinking. Don't need a drink. Nice. We still need to get these guys good clothing. Which is something I want to work on, but in order to do that, we've got to make the appropriate space, just as we have now. What's the next thing to tear down, then? I think the next thing to tear down... probably gonna be this makeshift blacksmith that I've got here. Although even it is serving a purpose at the moment. Now it isn't, and now we have nothing to worry about. All this linen cloth piled here also is going to be pulled out of a storage space and put over here. This is... I don't know what else to do, so it makes sense to me for the moment. be out of bed soon, and then we make beds. So far, though, it's nice, though. Nice and quiet. Peaceable. I don't know about you, but I like rainy days. Maybe not so much walking around in them. But I understand it is fairly common to take enjoyment in sitting or standing, being around an area, nice roofed area where you can hide from the rain. But still listen to it. Smell the kind of earthy smell that it gives. Even when I'm bicycling, doing my work in the rain, I still like the rain. After its fashion. I do get a little depressed when the sun begins to come out, however, because that's a sign that the rain is gonna stop and it's going to get hot again. Which is not something that I'm very enthusiastic about, not gonna lie. So don't sow that. Let me know when you're done with it. Same with this flax field here. Don't sow it either. But just let me know when you're done with it. I'm gonna let them haul things before I decide to do anything else. Oh yes, and now I remember why we hauled things. It is again because we're going to turn this into the next wing. That therefore necessitates that we move this workshop as well. I would love to bury it underground, but I don't really see that happening at the moment for reasons that you can obviously see. I could start making a separate kitchen, but what I really need to do is get research going for that, and I have yet to do that. I could also just uninstall it. But that seems somewhat wasteful to me. Oh, wait a minute. There is one other place I could put it. That'll do fine for the moment. Wait a minute. And then I need to do something about this thing. We'll try and relocate it, and then we can plan out that wing as well. How wide is it again? It's 7 by 6, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 7 by 6 is the wingspan of it. Do I already have that down? As a matter of fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we need to build up some. I think we almost have it all down. Well, that does remind me, though, we need to do something about this Cardo table. Ah, la, la. I promise you I have not been drinking tonight. I'm just a little stumble-tongued for whatever reason. Perhaps because I just keep talking like a maniac. Speaking of tables, Sigmund and Mabel were playing. You know, I must say, the work has been hard, and I really do miss a good shoot, but... I do think that it has been heretofore very, very good, all things considered. Maybe I would like it if you'd take just a minute to begin work on bricks. I would be most appreciative, considering we are going to need them in order to build the permanent settlement. Well, indeed we will, but there is one other thing which we are going to need, and that of course is going to be clay. How can you make a brick without clay? I know of no way. There's not much I know, but I do know it does require clay. Okay, you can stop saying clay so much now. I think we do understand what you are saying. Good. Yes, good. Said no voice in particular. Perhaps for the moment, so that I can keep practicing sewing, or at least get it out of the inventory, I can put the sewing station in the library. Not an ideal turn of events, but just having things. Oh, hello there. Another merchant comes by, for the Church of the Third Coming, no less. We like the church. Church is one of the few things that kept the medieval world together. The medieval world. Yes, we are coming after. Yeah. We are coming after your children. Except no. Except that's not my particular church's cabal plan to take over the world or anything like that. I don't know. Probably don't care either, frankly. So far, so good, though. I reckon we will at least have the plans for the small church out by the end of the video. If not, something more. I would like a colonnade something like this, but not made out of logs and not this close to the church. I would like something like that. Perhaps arches out of bricks, which is what I'm attempting to produce. Perhaps I just need to assign somebody chiefly to unskilled labor. I'm not sure. We'll have these cabbages harvested, however, to get out of the building area, so that we can begin more earnestly to lay this. Oh, I did think of one other problem it does pose. Oh dear, actually. Oh, that's a problem. I completely forgot about that. Fortunately, it doesn't seem to keep him from... Or maybe... Did he get up there by himself? Dude. I don't know. I don't know what that was, but to rectify the problem temporarily, we will build a wooden step case. Step case? Staircase. You curmudgeon. And we will again have Sigmund talk. Since it is past the praying hour, after all, we can afford to do it. Well, greetings to you, brother. I have some goods you might be very interested in. I wonder if you might have something for me. Well, as a matter of fact, I do see that aged fine wine, and am truly interested in it. It is only the finest vintage. You will find nothing wanting in what we have, and we will offer it at a very fair price. Truly, no one can dispute that. Truly, no one can dispute that. I'm afraid, however, it is maybe a little too rich for our blood, but I think we can cobble something together. Ooh, roasted meat, stew. Truly a delicacy out here in the wilds. A delicacy for you, but not for us. If this is eating like a king for you, I confess that we are true emperors of the plains out here. Well now, this is the kind of bounty that the church likes to hear exists. Perhaps you will be able to pay tithe someday. I shall report it to the headmaster, to the primate of the Church of the Third Coming. In the meantime, is there anything else you would like to trade, or anything that you would like to buy from me? You know, I must confess we actually mostly have everything we could hope for, except for that wine. Thank you for that. But perhaps a few more things we might convince you of. Excellent, excellent. And while I am here, and speaking of tithe, is there anything you would like to give? You know, as a matter of fact, I think there is something I would like to give. You know, as a matter of fact, there is something I would like to give you. We have had a bountiful year as far as cloth is concerned. Therefore, I think it only right that we should bestow some upon you. Oh, I am truly impressed with it, but unfortunately I cannot carry any more. You don't have something lighter and perhaps more, valuable? Well, we could part with a healing kit for you, if you would like. That's not exactly what I had in mind, but it shall do. Duly noted. Thank you for your hospitality. Of course, Your Reverence. You have nothing but my loyalty. Sigmund, you will be very pleased to hear that I have finally trained Bug Hall. Ah, very well, and appropriately named, given the present hall that we have. Well done. Well done. Well done. The thing that remains to be done, therefore, is the creation of clay bricks. We must get on with that if we are to even begin the foundation of the church. Forgive me for leaning away from the microphone, making it harder for everyone. You know, I didn't raise you to be watching any of these mature trees. Jeez. Excuse me. We have gone over to a new summertime. Yes, summertime, 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 and so on. All other things being equal, I think we should probably move the smokehouses. Why on earth would we do that? What are we to gain from such a venture? We don't need to do that right now. What we need to do is to lay out the plans of your, place. Whatever it is. Cathedral or whatever. And we also need to deconstruct these walls. Though I think we should leave the gates, at least to indicate to people where it is they can walk through with relative ease. At least that seems sensible to me. Actually, that's gonna take too long. Make it 150 to start off with. Clay brick goes very quickly. Brick as such goes very quickly. I almost wish you could copy whole buildings in this game. That would be kind of fun, but... and a splendid thing. Alas. For the moment, we shall have to stick with what we've got. Well, thank you very much for your businessmanship. Tarantulu. What was a blacksmith shop is going to be the housing of the forge now. I'm not sure that that is an actual title for anything. What is actually... actually, never mind. Truthfully, I'm not even sure that a wooden forge is a good idea. Actually, on the contrary, I'm quite sure it's a rather poor idea. Do finally have our clay bricks. And now we can imagine our possibilities with them. Ooh, what can we get done with clay brick now that we actually have some? Let us imagine together, shall we, what clay brick can do to liven this settlement. Ooh. What about pillars? Maybe some pillars? Ooh, I like that. Aye. Maybe a pillar along along the walls at regular intervals. Ooh. Nice. Do we want the wall to stop there, or do we want it to go up? Oh, I think we should have it go up, frankly. Nice, nice. Ooh, yes. The thickness of these pillars is just making me... Oh, I am loving it, man. I am loving it. Do we want to try to round it out, or maybe not? And you know what? The color is almost gonna look like that. I kid. But, not as much as you'd think. Maybe I shouldn't be dreaming quite this far along, considering I only have 20 bricks. I mean, even dreaming this far along is quite enough, but even then, that's not my main problem with it, I suppose. My main problem is simply that we should do the sanctuary first. That's how a church works. Will be a little ironic going through the Great Hall in order to get to it, but not as much as you'd think. On second thought, no reason to not just lay that down such as it is. Frankly, the clay window should go up, not down, so that the light shines down. I believe that was your pattern, but I'm not for sure. But now where is the door going to go? At least for the moment. Just for the moment, I think it's gonna have to go there. Maybe we should put in another door, but I don't think it's overly necessary at this point. I could put in a clay brick arch, but I think that might be premature. I also think putting in a roof at this point is also a tad premature. But if we're going to have a roof, it's going to be a thatch roof, for the moment. Simply so that we can begin making a place of worship out of it. I'm going to keep those arches there just for some visual inspiration later on. Enjoying the quiet, just so I am. I'm liking how laid back it is at the moment. All are at work or praying. And to that degree, all is well. Truly a serene, early summer night. In-game. Do it until you have 150, and do it until you have 100. I already have 100 ingots. Huh. I would never have guessed. Definitely not gonna guess that I would ever get any decent amount of gold or silver. Smelt items for metal. Boy, that takes me back. I should play some Team Fortress 2. I understand it's had some rough days, but the days are soon to be getting better for it. I hope so. Not gonna lie, fading a little out of consciousness just because I myself am tired. Not completely. I'm not gonna fall over and fall asleep. Yet. Though I did do so last night. Falling asleep in front of the computer and waking up to hear RT Game playing Super Mario Odyssey at 2 in the morning is a unique experience. Not necessarily one that I recommend to anybody, nor necessarily a bad one that I think should not be done. It's kinda neutral. Kinda doesn't matter. Kinda... yeah. Who cares? Kinda one of those sorts of who cares sorts of phenomena. Probably not unlike this channel, truthfully. It's here, and it really probably doesn't need to be here, because it probably doesn't matter. Truthfully, I'm doing it more for myself, to kinda give me incentive, A, to go to bed at a reasonable hour, or at least start doing my Duolingo, not assignments, exercises, at an hour I would actually, rather than putting them off entirely, also going to bed, and also playing games in a civilized way. I never really had a problem with that to begin with, but maybe showing people I could is something that I'm interested in? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what my reasons are for streaming. The the distant prospect of maybe making money is with me, but much more interesting streamers than I have had much less success. There is a streamer, for instance, whom I follow by the name of Stuart K. Riley. Heads up, he is a furry. The reason I like him, though, is because he reviews games, really old, vintage games, that I don't often see anywhere else. Truthfully, he does kind of get sexual about things at times. So, definitely not for everybody, just as this channel is, if you don't like boring observations, vaguely religious or moralistic tales, politics, or that sort of thing. That's not your thing. This channel may not be for you. In a similar fashion, Stuart K. Riley is not for everybody either. A, him being a furry, B, him being kind of a pervert. Yeah, let's be honest. But he is funny for people who can stomach some of his bawdier jokes, and I can sometimes, usually, I would say. The subject matter is definitely, for me, as somebody who takes an interest in computer game culture, and even console games to some degree, he's definitely interesting. He's right up there for me with Scott the Woz and Pro Jared and JonTron. Is Stuart K. Riley. He actually did a review of a game which was big in the YouTube poop community. For those of you who don't know what YouTube poop is, okay. It's basically remixed videos of characters doing or sounding strange. Classic ones I could recommend for somebody who's not familiar with Thomas the Tank Engine, actually, is Keeper of Beans, Tender Moments with Tender Engines. If you want a fairly representative idea of what a YouTube poop is. Anyway, Stuart K. Riley has been big in that scene. He reviewed a game called Only the Brave Can Rescue the Kidnapped Princess. Or, in short, The Kidnapped Princess, which was actually quite a good game and deserved to be seen and to be enjoyed. It wasn't a particularly good game, qua game. As a game, it was mediocre, at least from what it looked like. But the story, the art, the music, certainly for the time, and the quality, and certainly the passion and dedication and relative competence of the media. I mean, if you've ever read, like, it was good. It looked beautiful for what it is. Which, well, question is, what is it? If you had the pleasure, or if you like the displeasure, I would consider it a pleasure to have been able to read interactive books on computer game. Some computer. What am I trying to say here? In the mid to late 90s to the early 2000s, some books, some physical print media, were reimagined as interactive click fests where you click on various things on the screen and they make interesting noises and maybe have nice animations. Some of these were adaptations of books. If you've ever played one of these, like some of the Arthur ones or like Madeline, not to mention there were a whole field of other games, educational or purportedly educational ones, based on these franchises. Thinking games, they were often branded as. Only the Brave Can Rescue the Kidnapped Princess is in that line. It's kind of a thinking game type thing, except it's not educational in the slightest. We actually haven't got a clue what it's trying to talk about, except, well, what is said in the title. It's the mishaps of a kind of buffoonish king looking for his daughter, who actually is around and just wanted to marry Sir Longsword, I believe it was. At any rate, to get back to my point, as if I had a point, Stuart K. Riley actually had the homage to review that game and to point out that it deserved a lot more acclaim than it got because it was well made. At least, I could be wrong about that. I don't recall exactly. Oh wait, no. Now I remember what it was he was talking. The game wasn't necessarily well made in his eyes, but it was an obscure game that didn't get the love and attention that it needed. And he's like, therefore, you should pay attention to game developers, especially of obscure ones, which you're thinking of maybe getting into, but due to its obscureness, you're maybe a bit hesitant. I'm not relating his message very well because I'm not entirely sure I agree with it myself. Probably because I don't understand it very well myself. I guess kind of the idea being there are a lot of big AAA games out there in the world, and then there's games like Going Medieval and like RimWorld, which are developed by a relatively small team of developers. I guess this is the moral of the night. When you see a game like this, go hog wild and support it. Let your friends and family know about it. Let them know it's a good game. If it is, and I'd say this is a good game. I certainly enjoy building colonies with it and having these guys at my beck and call. More than any other game of this type that I had growing up or that preceded it. Like games like The Settlers or Cultures, or Cultures 2 or 3. Were all fine games. Or games like Stonehearth or like Banished, which were indie developments as well. Stonehearth being, in a lot of the fandom's eyes, abandoned, but having the torch passed on and kept alive by the community. Games like that, or like RimWorld, often don't come to the most glorious of ends for various reasons. And it's not always because the developers don't give a crap about their game, or because they're called off to do something. Sometimes it really is because the game just needed some more love, and couldn't or wouldn't get it. Either because nobody knew about it, or nobody cared. There is one game, which... oh no. What do we got? 2 archers, 2 fierce marauders, and 5 marauders. I'm not sure I'm ready for this just now. We may find ourselves restarting this video next time we go over this. But we are definitely gonna try to address this next time. I hope they're ready for it. Am I gonna look at this before? Am I gonna look at the video before I play? Hell no, because that's just not what I do. But, oh boy. I hope I pay attention to that incursion sticker over there, because I'm gonna need to if we're gonna survive this. Fortunately, we do have the wall up. That's gonna be invaluable the next time we begin this. Until that point, though, okay, we've got the Sword of Damocles hanging over our head. We got 4 villagers versus... they are outnumbered little over 2 to 1. Lord alone knows how that's gonna turn out, but for the moment, we'll call it and we'll pick it up next time. Remember, Tuesday is RimWorld night, and Thursday is Going Medieval night. But Colony Sims is what this channel does, unless I say otherwise, or do otherwise. Been a great pleasure, but for the moment I'll wish all peace, and I'm probably gonna collapse after doing 1 or 2 Duolingo lessons. Been a pleasure. I'm glad Marco de Jour is growing. I hope you've enjoyed.